All right, cool. So just don't hesitate to ask questions in the chat or anything. I'll be monitoring them live. So the goal here is basically to present you what is being done today to solve most of the issues with user experience in crypto. And for that, I'm just going to take an example of Friend.Tech. It's an app that launched about less than 15 days ago. So it's a very young one, but it had a lot of hype in the crypto industry and the kind of the crypto community. And I'm going to explain why exactly. So first of all, a few words about myself. I'm Cyprien. People call me Cip. I've been in crypto since 2013. I started working on the Bitcoin blockchain back in 2015, more or less. I was part of the first team to design a proof of concept for a voting protocol on the Bitcoin blockchain, which, when you consider it, is kind of stupid because Ethereum literally launched at the same time. So we had to redo our work from the ground. But then I went on to advise a bunch of projects. I've been involved in the token engineering community at the beginning. I more recently have been consulting the government of Canada on how to decentralize media financing, their media financing ecosystem. I've founded 3 companies so far. 2 are running very well. And I'm currently the co-founder and CTO at Beem.xyz, which is a web3 live video streaming platform. So let's dig right away into Friend.Tech. So what is it? It's a social investing app that was launched in August 10th, so like 20 days ago. The idea is that users can buy keys that open them the right to be in their friends' chat group. So it's a way for creators, influencers to monetize their influence and basically create a gated paid chat group. The payment is made in ETH, so you need to have some Ether in your wallet, and it's on the Base network. Base is an L2, so it's a layer 2 on top of Ethereum that is managed by Coinbase at the moment. And why is it there? It's because it's very cheap in terms of gas fees. So to use a blockchain, you need to pay gas. So you need to pay the computation power to execute your transaction. But this is the reason why you have L2s now, so layer 2s on top of Ethereum. It's to help decrease that cost and help kind of bundle transactions together to push it to the layer 1, which is Ethereum, so that the kind of unit cost per transaction is way lower than on the mainnet. And interesting thing about Friend.Tech is that the prices for the keys are defined by a bonding curve. So I don't know how familiar you are here with bonding curves, but basically the idea is that there is a relation between the supply and the price. So the more there are keys on the market, the higher the price goes. So if you buy the first key to someone, it's going to cost you maybe $1 or something. But if you are the 100th person to buy a key from that same user, you're going to pay it maybe 1 ETH or something. And so far they have about like 20,000 active users. And the really interesting part is that it's a mobile app that is very user friendly. So this is not something that you see often in crypto. There's a very easy user onboarding. I will explain a bit later how it works. And then there's a strong security, because it's kind of easy to just give an app to people and be like, oh, you can do crypto on it, but you own the private keys. It's kind of easy to do that in the sense that you are able to manage that. But if you go more into kind of a non-custodial approach, meaning you want the users to have the ownership of their keys, then this is where you need like other solutions. And so Juan had a very, very good question, which is what's stopping MEV extractors from buying all the first keys, given that the price will increase with every new buyers? And this is true. So it's actually very kind of fun when you look at it. Base is a network that is less than a month old. So it's a very new network. And thanks to Friend.Tech, they actually realized that they had a leak in their mempool, in the sense that the mempool is where all the transactions are put before they are actually picked up by a block builder, put inside a block, and the block is actually put into the blockchain. So if you are able to watch all the pending transactions on a pool, then you are able to basically pick the transaction that you want, insert your own transaction, and then submit it to a block builder, and so that it gets included or directly to a validator, so that it gets included into the blockchain. That is called MEV, which is minor extracted value or maximal extracted value. And so what happened with Friend.Tech when they launched is that people quickly realized that because there is this bonding curve and the price goes up with each key that is sold, then if you have a new user that is kind of moderately known or that is kind of an influencer, it's very interesting to buy the keys in advance as early as possible, because you know that when other people will come in, they will pay you a higher price. And I basically did that. Like I was on the first 2 days of the app, and I was able to buy like very, very cheap keys because I knew people were coming in that were very known in the crypto space, but they still, like, that was the first time they entered. So their keys were very cheap for maybe a few minutes. And then people started to come up and saw them and buy the keys. So the price will go up. But people started to create bots that were basically looking at the mempool, and the moment a user was entering, then immediately they would buy their shares. And so that made that a lot of big crypto influencers on Twitter had their share price, the first share they were able to buy after the first one that is free was about like 0.5 ETH, because bots would have like basically picked up all the first supply up until like 0.5 ETH per key. So now they started to fix that leak in the mempool. So in theory, the MEV problem should go away in some ways, but you have a way to like have bots to just monitor who is joining the app and buying automatically based on that, even if you don't have access to the mempool. All right. Let's start with the kind of the main problems with the current Web3 stack. The user experience is shit, to be honest. If you don't know anything about crypto, if you're not technical, you will have a lot of hard ways to kind of understand what's happening. You need a wallet, so it means that you need to manage your own keys. The moment you start playing with crypto, you kind of realize that you are using multiple wallets. So you need to have multiple private keys that you store a bit everywhere. So it gets very messy very fast. And even myself, like 10 years in the industry, I still know that my security is not perfect, because it's very, very hard to get to a point where you have like a very, very good asset management of your crypto. And so that's the next point, which is security. One of the biggest losses in crypto happen because of scams. We all know that. But second is because people lose their keys. If you didn't write it down, if you write it down but like just lost the paper, if you put it in a cloud that was hacked, or you lost access to that cloud, you're basically losing access to your private keys, and there is no like support, like client support on Ethereum that you can call and be like, hey, can you give me back my keys? That doesn't exist. If you lost them, it's done. You have lost your crypto. So this is like it's a feature right now, but it's a very bad feature that looks more, if you look at it from a kind of an external point of view, it looks more than like a bug. we should have a way to have secure key management, but that is recoverable if I lose them. Another thing that is very hard to understand first is the gas fees. So what is that gas? What do I need to pay to make a transaction? Who is charging me? Who am I paying? Why is it varying immensely? So right now, it's kind of cool because the gas is at 14 ways right now. So 14 ways means basically at that current Ethereum price, you will pay about like less than $1 to make a transaction. So it's kind of cheap at the moment. But I remember during the DeFi summer, so 2021, and the NFT summer 2022, we were paying like $200 to $400 just to make one transaction. So you really hope that you have a pretty good upside potential for the transaction when you pay $400 to enter and $400 to exit. You really hope that you will make a lot of money, because otherwise you're just losing money. Even if you're profitable on the trade, you will just lose money overall because of the gas fees. Then you have the signature. So you want to do something on a decentralized app, you click somewhere, and then you need to have your wallet. You need to click one time and then approve, and then you can have even multiple transactions. So you need to wait for the transaction to finish to be able to complete and do the next signature. It's a nightmare. Another problem is cross-platform compatibility. Right now, most of the crypto apps are like designed for desktop browsers. Literally, like it's mostly done for that. You have some new apps, but there are going to be apps that don't have like the full feature set of the full web app. There are times where it just doesn't work. Like they don't support mobile, for example. And so you need to go to a computer and do the things on your computer because the app system is not supported. And then finally, talking about app stores, the big issue right now with crypto for mobile is that Apple and Google are making big restrictions on which type of apps are allowed on their app store. And also, they take 30% store fees, meaning that if I make a transaction on, like I sell an NFT, let's say on an app, I'm supposed to be paying 30% to Apple, which doesn't make sense at all. So here, I'm kind of introducing the PEPS stack. PEPS just come from Nicolas. He's a brilliant developer, blockchain developer based here in Montreal that has a very good podcast called Galaxy Brain that I encourage you to listen to if you are. It's more technical, really. He mostly talks with other Solidity developers. But anyways, he came up with that PEPS stack. And what does it mean? It means progressive web app, embedded wallets or smart wallets, passkeys, and single sign-on. So I'm going to go like one by one, and you will kind of get why it's so interesting at the moment. So first, progressive web app means that it's an app that you're able to download directly from the web to your home screen. So you don't need to go to Apple Store, App Store, or like Google Play Store. You can just go to the website, click, and download it on your home screen. And then when you launch it, it's going to act exactly like an app, except that it's actually kind of a browser-rendered app. And the cool thing with that is with the new version of iOS, you can now receive mobile notifications right from that progressive web app. Second thing is embedded wallets or smart wallets. So the idea here is that each app has its own wallet built in. This is super cool because it means that you don't have to flip between multiple apps and wallets to make a transaction. You can have everything in a single app. And later, we are going to get smart wallets. So smart wallets are kind of a new thing that is basically leveraging account abstraction. So account abstraction is a new feature from the Ethereum blockchain. It's ERC-4337. That is basically allowing a bunch of different like cool interactions, but I'm just going to mention two. First, you're able to have other people signing for you or other entities, meaning when you create your app at the beginning, you will not have to sign yourself. You can have like actions that you take on the app that require a signature, and you will basically be delegating your signature to someone else to sign for you. So it's a way to just go faster and have like much more clean UX while still having on-chain messages or on-chain actions that are taken. It's basically abstracting all the complexity of signing the transaction and creating those transactions from the wallet. Basically, someone else is doing that for you. And another very cool thing is being able to pay the gas for the users. So remember, I was talking about how managing gas is kind of a very complicated task, and you need to understand what's going on, know how much to pay, etc. Here, the idea is that you can have basically a contract that is going to pay for you. So it can be a very good way for apps to onboard new users, where they're going to pay the gas for those users for the first, I don't know, like 10 or 20 transactions. So that for the user, it's going to be transparent, but they are not going to have to worry about what is gas and why do I need to pay it and how much does it cost. Then we have passkeys. So passkeys is also kind of a new part of the stack that is allowed by the progresses made by Apple and Google and Microsoft as well on using Touch ID or your Face ID to sign. And so it means that you'll be able to enter apps without password. So you don't have to remember your password. And if you kind of lose access to the app, you're still able to then recover the code based on your passkey. So it means based on your Face ID, for example. And that's kind of linked to the single sign-on. So single sign-on is something that exists already in Web2 everywhere. So every time you see like signing with Apple or signing with Google, this is what's happening. But here the idea is that you can use it, but behind that, you're going to get a wallet. So you have a very easy logging experience, very easy onboarding experience, but you don't need to have a wallet. And we create a wallet right away for you that is kind of managed by your Google account or your Facebook account. All good so far? Let me know if you have questions. So what are the cool things and why is it so important for how crypto is going to develop and reach mainstream adoption? It's because now it's very easy to install on mobile. And as you know, like right now, most of the human population is on mobile. So you don't have to go through the App Store, but you still have a mobile app. You can have very simplified one-click transactions. So it means that for example, if you're talking about a social wallet, a social app where you like, you repost, you do like a bunch of like classic Web2 social actions. All of those actions can be transactions. But because we have that account abstraction going on, you're not forced to make a transaction, to sign a transaction, to pay gas every time. Someone can do that for you. So the app creator basically can do that for you. And so for you as an end user, it's a very clean and quick experience, seamless experience, really. You can have real-time notifications on iOS and Android. So again, that's very cool to see, because before, if something was happening on chain, you had to have like Etherscan, for example, or a particular type of web app opened to like check what's happening all the time. Here, you can just receive notifications straight to your mobile app. We also had in the last 2 years a huge development in layer 2. So layer 2 means Base, the Coinbase blockchain I was talking about, but you also have all the ZK, so zero knowledge technology-based layers, so ZK Sync, StartNet, and then all the Arbitrum also is a kind of a big player right now. And I was mentioning Base. Base is part of the OP stack. So OP stack is the optimism stack, which is another type of layers of layer 2. Sorry. And so Zora, for example, is also using it, and Optimism, of course, is also based on that. It's non-custodial, meaning we talked about like the login with Google, etc., but you still have full control over your keys and crypto. So if you want to export your keys, you can. There is no one that is allowed to just mess with it and to steal it from you. Using the passkeys, as we just saw, you're able to have a very simple and secure login. If you use Apple right now, you can even have a backup for those keys in your iCloud accounts, and you can even use the Apple ID social recovery, meaning you can kind of delegate to other people, your friends or family, the right to give you back access to your accounts. So we are progressively kind of going away from you have to manage everything yourself to you're delegating that to infrastructure or to other people so that you have a more secure management of your keys. And to finish, of course, you have the freedom from the restrictions that you can see on app stores, and of course the 30% fee that I was talking about. And soon what we're going to see is that those smart wallets are going to allow for even smoother UX. As I was mentioning, you can just enter the app, not pay any gas. Everything is paid for by the app developer. And so you have a very, very Web2 experience, even if in the backend it's Web3 that is happening. And finally, I just want to talk very quickly about the passkeys and why it's so important now. So you don't have a need for password. You can sign in using Face ID or Touch ID. The keys are generated directly on your device, so on the kind of encrypted part of your device. So normally, if you don't get hacked in your Apple accounts, and even if you get hacked in your Apple account, there is a big chance that they will not be able to recover it because they will still need the Face ID or Touch ID. You can sign transactions. That's kind of the idea of passkeys, is to use them to sign smart wallet transactions. So it means that you will, even to make like a very big transaction, you just have to show your face and boom, the transaction is made. You can share your keys to other devices through iCloud. So that's a big something that is also interesting for, again, right now, if I lose my phone, I'm okay because I still have my computer and I will still have all my keys on my computer, for example. And you have that encrypted backup, of course, the social recovery, we talked about that. And now you have compatibility with Windows and Android that is coming up to the market, meaning that you will have a way to manage your account throughout all the different type of devices. So that also answers the main problem that I was mentioning at the beginning about cross-platform compatibility. And then finally, a cool option would be to use, for example, YubiKeys. So it's like kind of USB keys that have your keys encrypted into your computer, into the USB key that you insert into your computer. So no one has access to those keys. So again, you just add another layer of security on top of everything you're doing, and that is powered by passkeys. So that's it for me. Really, I just wanted to give you a kind of a quick intro to that new stack, give you ideas about how to develop faster and better crypto apps. If you want to talk about something you're working on, just have a chat with me. I'm at ZerexCip on Twitter, or I'm Cyprien Grau on LinkedIn. So very easy to find me.